Welcome participants in this new session, 7th session, and we will discuss about employee attitude and job satisfaction in this session, which is one of the most important topic of your organizational behavior. And in this session, first we will talk about employee attitude and then job satisfaction. But before that, let us try to understand why we should understand and explain about employee attitude and job satisfaction, what is need. So, for that, if we see the various approaches of management, starting from the scientific management, then human relational approach, then the human behavior approach, then the quantitative approach where we practice the mathematical models and operation research for accomplishment of various business or organizational activities, and then the system approach, then the contingency approach. As a result of that, the management of organization has become very effective, but complex, and this complexity has impact on the human behavior. So, it may be the technology, business processes, organizational resources, management methods and employees' attitude and behavior, which have direct impact on the functioning of organization. As and when there is change in the technology, the functioning of organization will change. If there is any kind of change in the business process or organizational process, the functioning of organizational will change. If the resources, that is man, machine, material, money, methods are changing, the working of organization will change. If the methods of management, which is one of the significant factor of working of organization, and methods of management means whenever there is change at senior level and that senior person has introduced the new methods of business functions, that will have impact on functioning of the organization. Not only that, the attitude or behavior of people also have impact on the functioning of organization. So, in this session we will talk about the impact of attitude on the functioning of organization. And before we understand the impact, we need to understand what is attitude. So, let us try to understand what is attitude. Basically, attitude is a learnt behavior which is persistently produced or elicited by an organism towards a situation, person, place, object. So, simply understanding, attitude is a learnt behavior, the behavior we have learnt, and we will elicit this behavior already always. It would be a persistent behavior towards maybe a person, a situation, a circumstance, a place or object. Now, to understand it clearly, attitude of a person towards parents, it is a learnt behavior. We learn how we should behave or what kind of attitude we should have towards our parents, what kind of attitude we should have towards our worship places, what kind of attitude we should have towards our religious, political, social leaders, what type of attitude we should have towards our organization, its infrastructure. These are the example of attitude, and basically attitude is a mindset point of view, belief, which are involving the values also. Attitude constitutes the mindset. I have developed a mindset towards my parents to respect them, and this is my point of view. And yes, this is my faith and belief also, and this is oriented towards a value system of the society. Organization is a social entity. So, what kind of mindset we have towards its various situations, work situations, towards its various people working in that, towards its geographical place, and towards what kind of infrastructure is being used in that. So, attitude is a combination of mindset, point of view, beliefs and value system also. It is regulated by that. So, in what kind of value system we have been developed, that will certainly affect our attitude. And the basic constituent of attitude are the cognitive, behavioral and emotional part. If we try to multisect, if we try to understand the anatomy and physiology of attitude system, then it is consist of the cognitive part, cognitive component, behavioral component and emotional component. And why we should understand that? The attitude is also working in the organization, what kind of attitude and behavior we have got. And if you want to understand that, and why we need to understand that? Because in certain cases we need to strengthen that kind of attitude, and among other situations we want to modify, change the attitude. And if we want to work on that, we need to understand its various components like cognitive component, behavioral component and emotional component. So, if we talk about the cognitive component of attitude, cognitive component is related to the mental processes, the kind of knowledge, information we are having, what kind of knowledge and information has been given to us by the society regarding our parents, that will constitute our cognitive component of our attitude, and it is again related to the formation of the mindset, formation of the point of view, formation of the belief system, and yes, practicing of the value system is the cognitive component. Now, the behavioral, how the formation of cognitive is emphasizing, is pushing us to execute it into the action or reaction part. What kind of actions or reactions necessary while interacting with the parents, while interacting with the boss, while interacting with the peer group, while interacting with the junior workforce. That is the behavioral component, action and reactions. Action which generates from within, and reactions when we are responding to the action of others. If someone has done good to us, then our cognitive component will develop the mindset that we must do good to others. And if someone has done bad to us, then the value system and other factors will help us to decide whether we should do bad to others or we should do good to others. So, this is behavioral component, and the third component is the emotional component. Emotions are the mental states. Emotions are the mental states with respect to the interaction with others. So, whenever the behavioral component is supported by the emotions also, and why we are talking about emotions or emotional component of attitude? Because attitude is combination of all these three, and when we are working in the organization, our cognitive, behavioral and emotional respect, pleasure seeking, joyful environment, all these factors, and these three component develops the attitude, and how it is effective in the organization already we have discussed. Now, attitude can be basically of three types: positive attitude, negative attitude, and neutral attitude. And positive means an attitude which is constructive in the nature, which is supportive in the nature. Negative attitude is when we do not want to be involved in constructive approach, that is negative. Positive attitude supports the organization, groups and individual to drive the organization in the direction of achievement of its goals. And attitude is not only from the working class only, it is vice versa also. So, positive sometimes may also be considered as good attitude, and negative attitude is considered as bad attitude, and neutral attitude is neither we are having positive or negative attitude, or our attitude is not having any kind of interest in that, or our attitude is resigned or indifferent, that kind of attitude. So, employees while working in the organization practice the attitude individually, among groups, and as a organization, and they have their positive attitude, negative attitude and neutral attitude towards various components of organization, like its infrastructure, its people, its management, its resources. All these factors have positivity and negative. Now, how we can understand that? Positive attitude towards organization. You have a positive attitude towards your boss. Yes, the decision made by boss, and when I was involved in that, it would be supportive in the attainment of organizational or departmental goal. Negative attitude, no, this man is not taking right decision, and it may hamper or limit the organization to attain its goal. Neutral, I should not worry whether organization would be able to attain the goal or not. That kind of attitude is the neutral attitude. So, these three types of attitude, we must understand the components of attitude and positivity, negativity and neutralness of the attitude. Reason being, if these principles will be practiced in the organization, then they will have impact on the behavior of individuals, groups and organization as a whole. Now, what is relation? Now, we need to understand the difference between attitude and behavior. Basically, the basic component of attitude is behavior. A learnt behavior will become attitude when it is used persistently and consistently for a typical type of situation, person, object, place. That so, behavior is the main constituent of attitude. So, if you want to work, if you want to understand, if you want to analyze, if you want to describe, if you want to explain, if you want to predict the attitude of people, you need to understand the behavior of people. Basically, it is behavior of people. Or if you want to modify or control the attitude of people, you need to modify the behavior of the people. So, this is the basic difference. Now, how behavior and attitude are related? Simply, there is a direct relationship between attitude and behavior. A positive attitude will result from the good behavior, and a negative attitude will result from a bad behavior, and a good behavior supports the organization in attainment of the organizational goals, whereas a bad behavior or negative attitude hampers the organization to attain its goal. In the first session of this course, we have been discussing that there might be a set of such behaviors which can help the organization to attain its goals, whereas there are certain set of behaviors which can stop the organization to attain its goal. The set of behaviors which supports the organization are called as the productive work behaviors, whereas the set of behaviors which will hamper or limit the organization and its people to attain its goals will be the counterproductive work behaviors or deviant work behaviors. So, if organization want to attain the goals, the organization must categorize these two type of behaviors and should have a mechanism to control these behaviors, so that the attitude of people can be modified accordingly, or such kind of attitude can be developed among people of organization, so that attainment of organizational goal will become very easy. So, this is all about the employee's attitude. Now, the importance of employee's attitude in organization. Starting from functioning of individual, group and organization, attitude has a key role. With respect to attainment of organizational goal, attitude has a positive and negative relationship or a direct relationship. Either it will hamper the organization or it will support the organization to attain. Attitude creates the appropriate work culture in the organization. If the attitude of people is positive towards people, towards infrastructure, towards organization, towards its work, the organizational culture will be supportive to the attainment of organizational goal, and that organizational culture as well as organizational climatic condition will constitute the work environment, and work environment means all these factors will develop the social structure, because organization is a social entity, it is a social group. So, the organizational culture will have impact on the social group, will have impact on the political system, power system, authority system of the organization. So, these are some of the factors for which it is important to understand the attitude of people, attitude of groups and organization as a whole. So, this is all about the attitude, and in this session we will take the next component, that is job satisfaction. We will take some part of job satisfaction in this session and in next session also. So, before I explain the need and importance of job satisfaction in organizations, let us talk about what actually job satisfaction is. Let us try to understand its meaning. This term job satisfaction is consist of two words, job and satisfaction. Job all we understand, the set of rules, responsibility, assignment, task, work required to be accomplished by a particular position of the organization is job. Now, the second word in the term job satisfaction is satisfaction. Now, what is satisfaction? satisfaction is sense of contentment, fulfillment, motivation and pleasure acquired as a result of accomplishment of something. Satisfaction is a phenomena. So, satisfaction may be understood in the personal life, in day-to-day life as well as in the work life. So, whenever we try to understand the phenomena of satisfaction in the work life, that is job satisfaction. So, the meaning of job satisfaction is the degree of contentment, fulfillment, motivation and pleasure attained by an employee while working on a particular position of the organization. So, how we can understand? I am professor in one of the university. So, I am working as a professor, that is one of the position of the university. I am working there. So, while working there, I have to accomplish certain roles, responsibilities, assignments, activities, tasks and jobs. And while doing all that, what degree of contentment, fulfillment, motivation and pleasure I am acquiring, I am gaining as a result of my working, that is my job satisfaction. Before we go for the different definition given by authors of job satisfaction, let us try to understand the various constituent of job, what we will include in the job. So, the very first constituent of job is day to day working. And what does it mean? As I told you, in day to day working on a particular position or job, what an individual is doing as a role, as a duty, as a responsibility, as an assignment, as activities, as tasks, as works. So, that will be included. And second component of job is association and interaction with senior, peer and juniors employees. So, job includes not only the duty, rule, responsibility, assignments and all these things, it also involves how we interact and associate with individuals, with teams, with groups and with the organization as a whole. This is also component of job. And third one is, job also includes what kind of policies, programs, schemes are being imposed, observed by the people in the organization. And next one is, what type of technology and work environment is there, that is also part of job. And next is, what type of compensation and other rewards and benefits are given to the employee. And the last one is, what type of organizational culture and climatic conditions are there. So, job constitutes the day to day working, association and interactions with the people of organization, politics, program and schemes implemented by the organization, kind of technology and work environment used by the organization, and what kind of compensation and other benefits are given to the employees, and what kind of organizational work culture and climatic conditions are there. All these constituents will constitute the job. And if a person is attaining satisfaction in doing the day to day activities, in interacting with the people of organization, in observing the policies, program and schemes of the organization, in using the technology and work environment of the organization, and yes, of course, in receiving the compensation and other benefits within the domain of organizational work culture and climatic conditions. All these factors will lead to the satisfaction, that is, will lead to the contentment, fulfillment, motivation and pleasure. So, in total this is job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is defined by different authors in different ways. According to Siegal and Lance in 1987, job satisfaction is an emotional response. Yes, it is an emotional. We need to understand this basic characteristic. Job satisfaction is something emotional, and how it is emotional? How emotionally we are seeking pleasure, fulfillment, contentment in day-to-day activities, while associating and interacting with the people, with the policy, program and schemes. So, it is the emotional response of individual with the job. And the next definition given by Hopcock, and who defines the job satisfaction as combination of psychological, physiological and environmental circumstances. Psychological, physiological. What kind of psychological things happens with employee? What kind of physiological changes are happening, whether the harmful kind of hormones are being secreted as a result of working on the job, or the positive ones. And yes, of course, what kind of environmental circumstances are there. Smith has also defined job satisfaction as the feeling an individual has about his or her work. So, these are some definitions. There are certain other definitions also, and with this we will conclude this session. In the next session we will go for other concepts of job satisfaction, like need of job satisfaction, importance of job satisfaction, and what are various methodologies with which we can develop the process of job satisfaction. So, here we will conclude this session. Thank you for the patient listening, and I hope that you might have enjoyed the learning, and in the next session we will come with a new topic. Thank you very much. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.